Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is Saturday night for me. I've literally just got in from the Stitchy Day in Bristol, organised by Sue, the Not Cross Stitcher. And I knew that if I didn't film my FlossTube now, that I would sit down and I would be asleep because it was such a busy day. I'm putting that pencil down because I'll end up waving it at you. It was such a busy day, talking to so many different people. It was an absolutely fabulous, fabulous day in Bristol. There were so many different types of stitchers with different types of projects, different ages, different languages. It was absolutely amazing, and just to sort of wander around and see everybody's different stitching setups was great. You get into the sort of into your own groove and then you forget to look outside of that sometimes, and so it was just really nice to see what everybody was stitching. Of course that means my pattern wish list has increased, my fabric wish list has increased, the things that I might need have also increased, but I'm going to leave them settle, and then the ones that I really need might push themselves to the surface. So as I said, it was organised by Sue, who is the Not Cross Stitcher, and I just want to formally say a massive, massive thank you to her. It was brilliant, really, really good. Such a reasonably priced day at a beautiful venue, and that the lunch alone was worth the entrance fee. It was really, really good. So if you don't follow her, I'll put her Instagram details down below. Make sure you do follow her so that you can be first to know about any other Stitchy days that are coming up. I spent a lot of time talking to various different people, and everyone was so lovely to come over and say hi, and I spent time talking to different people about their stitching and things like that. And I always feel bad about mentioning names because I know there's people I forget, and events like these make me realise that there's part of my personality that is really bad with faces and names. Really bad, and people out of context as well. I've always known with students that when I see them out of context I find it hard to remember their names, but at Stitchy days I find it really hard as well, because usually people have got three names. They've got their own name, an Instagram name, perhaps a YouTube name, and putting things together I find super, super difficult. So I had a fantastic time talking with everybody, and I'm loath to mention any names just because I know that there will be some people that I forget. But I sat on the table with Sue and other stitchers to begin with, and in the end I did end up moving out of the bigger room just because it was just really hot. It was a super, super hot day today, really, really muggy, and I was wearing the top that I'm wearing, long sleeves. I don't do well with short sleeves. I have old lady elbows that I don't like, so I don't do well with short sleeves. So I was just a bit hot, so I went into the slightly bigger room where the tea and the coffee and the vendors and things were. So yeah, started off on that table, spent time talking to Esther and to Jane, and there was some fabulous, fabulous stitching. And I never knew how much I wanted to do a Bella Fina. Tried to say that before and I ended up cutting it out. I'm going to have to try again. Bella Filipina mermaid. There were some amazing ones on display. People were doing beautiful stitching, beautiful beading on them. Spent a long time talking to several different Sarahs. There was lots of Sarahs there today, and so it was great. I also met Mad Morty from Mad Morty and the Brom. Got to get that right. And yeah, I didn't recognise her. I just didn't recognise her, and I feel so bad. So I'm really sorry that I didn't recognise you. Who else? What else do I need to say? I spent a lot of time talking with Chloe, Girl from McGavell Stitches. You'll be pleased to know, as a stitching community, that I have bullied her relentlessly again today about making sure she releases that fabulous sampler that she's got. So I didn't mention it like 50 times or anything like that. So so yeah, fingers crossed that it will be soon, within a year, hopefully. It's a big girl, so yeah, it's not going to be immediate, but I'm playing my part in badgering her to release it. Patchwork Rabbit were there, and Catherine bought me a present along. Now, you may remember a very long time ago that I showed you a sampler that I had bought that was in terrible, terrible condition. She had literally been cut from her frame. This is how I'll try and sort of come behind her as much as possible so you can't see through the gaps. Now I've got her back out again, And I'm not entirely sure that some of those holes aren't new, because as you can see, she was really, really poorly treated. There is quite a lot of good colour still on the back, so when I charted her and chose the threads, I had a reasonable idea of what would work. And I took this one, Susanna Eccles, and my Aran sampler down to the Patchwork Rabbit, probably last year now, to pick out the threads. And Catherine said she really liked this one, and could she stitch the model? And I have 1 or 2 samplers waiting in the wings, so if someone says, can I stitch the model, I'm, yes, please, please, that would be great. So she brought her back to me today. Now this is Sophia Stafford. Look at that. Isn't she amazing? Now we decided to lighten the fabric up quite a bit. I'll show her again in a minute, because this fabric is really quite dirty and aged, and you can't see the colours brilliantly. So we decided to lighten up the fabric and pick a fabric that went with the colours really well. This is stitched on 40 count, and I think you will agree, I'm going to have to try and move her in front of me, that Catherine has done a phenomenal job. Now we have a grass story with this one. Catherine did send me a progress picture of it, and I messaged back saying, oh, it looks amazing. Is that the right colour for the grass? And she sort of messaged back very quickly. She's like, no, but it soon will be. She'd accidentally picked up the wrong colour for the grass, so she had a little bit of frogging to do. But we do like a damn grass story. So there she is in all her glory. Now she is likely going to be released in September, so I will give you more details for her and obviously show you her when she's framed, but she will probably be released in September. Thank you, Catherine. I am so grateful to you for stitching the model for me. And I get to show her finish, and it's not mine. So that was the most important, or one of the most important things that happened today. Let me show you what else. Just try and put this down. Let me show you what else. What did I stitch on today? I stitched on, yes, how did I put my 2 strands of thread in today? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. I spent approximately 10 minutes actually stitching on the rabbit and finished filling him in. I've just got the rest of the flowers and doodads to do there. So yeah, approximately 10 minutes I spent on it. And then I spent the rest of the kind of day in between chatting. I decided that if I was going to go to Bristol, I needed to start something to do with Bristol. So I decided that I was going to start crow's feet stitching, pin cushions and drum, and I was going to start the elephant. Now if you haven't watched last week's FlossTube, there is actually a giveaway for a copy of this chart and for a copy of the full Bristol sampler. But I wanted to start the elephant. And I did start the elephant. It was not my most successful effort, however. Where is it? Here it is. Now, there is my start. Let's just, come on. Is that still attached to anything? No. Oh, it is. It's still attached to the needle. Hold please. There we go. there we go. So I've stitched down from the elephant. Let me show you again. So there's the elephant. I've sort of stitched down from there. And I had pretty much most of the elephant outline until I came back to do the fourth leg and realised that the fourth leg was going to be quite considerably shorter than the other legs. And so I realised I'd gone wrong somewhere, and I'd actually gone wrong right on the bum. Right on the bum. So I had to spend some time just frogging that back out again. So the rest of the time stitching was equally spread between stitching it in and then frogging it back out again. Whilst I've got it here, I'll just show you, on this piece of fabric I have got a couple of other, whoops, caught that, a couple of other Bristol starts. So this is Bristol Berries by Erica Michaels, and I have stitched this one, and I'll show you that one in a minute, and I have started a teeny tiny start on this one. So this is a piece of 36 count fabric which I dyed myself, but I have literally just kind of dirtied it up a little bit. I made a very, very weak dye, crunched it up, put it in and took it back out almost straight away. And I am stitching it in Sulky 1169, which is one of my favourites. So I'll show you the disappointing bit first to go along with the other disappointing bit of elephant. So that is the bottom of the small sampler, and this one here is this berry. So I have done this berry. I do need to take this date back out though, just because I'd tried to find a DMC to match, and I don't think I quite got the right one, but I did find an anchor that matched exactly to the sulky, because obviously you can't achieve that with the slightly thicker sulky thread. So let's come back and see. Yeah, that's pretty much the right colour. It's a white with just dirtied up a little bit. So I don't think the elephant will take very long, especially if I actually concentrate rather than drink tea and talk and look at other people stitching. So that was my Bristol start in Bristol. The rest of the week I have been working on my Colorado cross-stitch camp, where we had to stitch something with a bird on it this week. So this is the one I'd chosen. It is by the Bluebird Needleworks on Etsy, and I'm just stitching the hen. I'm not going to stitch the eggs at the top, I don't think, but if I do, I'll stitch them separately, so they won't be quite part of the pattern. And I think I've had an idea as to what I want to do with it. So I'm stitching it on a piece of fabric that I dyed myself, didn't like the colour, and then over dyed it. So it's much darker, almost like a grey blue. So let's just try not to blow it out too much. It's a bit dark there, probably about there. The green is probably the one that shows up least well, but it shows up fine just in person. So what I need to do is finish the bottom of the egg cup, and there's a little white band there, and I need to then finish the straw of the hen. Now I think what I'm going to do with it is turn it into a scissor pouch, and I want to try and do one of those scissor pouches whereby the scissors are on a ribbon and they sort of slide up inside the pouch. So my idea is to make the pouch kind of oval like that, but leave it open at the bottom with a hole at the top for the ribbon to slide through, and then you sort of hang it up and it covers your scissors. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan. Whether the plan comes to fruition or not, I'm not sure. We'll see. But I think it's reasonably foolproof. I also should be shot for my chicken placement. Heaven only knows what I thought I was doing. I would have been far better to have turned it around like that. honestly. I astound myself sometimes. And I'm still stitching that one in a sulky conversion as well. And that is about all I have got today. Well, in terms of actual stitching, I've got other things to show you because Patchwork Rabbit were there, so I have other things, I have haul to show you. But I just also wanted to show you this. It was given to me today by one of the other stitchers, and I didn't ask if I could share her name, so you know who you are. Thank you so much. It's filled with walnut shells and emery. So it's a little needle cushion, pin cushion as well. So I attached it to my scissors. These are my favourite scissors. If you've never seen these before, I will have to put down in the comment box who makes them, because, are they Janome? I don't know. They are so tactile, but they are also meant for anybody who needs to grab scissors in one of any different ways. You can grab your scissors in all sorts of different ways. So they are so tactile, but I can imagine that they would be super good. I think there's 6 different handholds altogether for anybody who's got some dexterity problems as well. So I will try and put those down below where you can get them from, because they're really good. What else did I do this week? I have stitched up, I have kitted up the Summer at Cherry Hill by Brenda Gervais. Now, this was given to me by a lovely stitcher who sent it to me, and her name was Margaret. And she gifted me this chart, which is one that I really wanted and found very hard to get hold of in the UK. I'm going to stitch it on 32 count, a piece of Crafty Kate's linen. I've measured it and it will fit on there. There's not going to be a lot of room for partying at the edges, but it will fit on there. So I think it's probably going to go on there. And these are some of the threads. I've got a few others to collect, and I've got a few others which I know are in another Brenda Gervais chart. So those are the colours, and that's what they'll look like on there. I know some of them are a little bit light, but I think I'm right in saying that where we get the lighter stitches, they're surrounded by darker ones, so it will show up. Love that. So thank you so much, Margaret, for that. You have made one of my unicorns come true. Come true? Is that what you would say? Make a unicorn come true? Right, so Patchwork Rabbit. What did I get at the Patchwork Rabbit? They bought a fabulous trunk show. Lots of fabric, lots of charts there. They also brought the Fibre on a Whim Fabric of the Month Club along. They knew I was going, so they brought mine along. Everybody else's is being sent out, or has been already sent out, I think. So that was the first month, and then we're carrying on from there. So we love Fabric on a Whim, Fibre on a Whim. I don't know whether they've got any spots open to them, but if you're looking for a fabric club, drop them a message. You never know, there might be some spots open. So this was my bag. I'm going to take it all out in one go, because otherwise we'll just have loads of rustling. Now, I did do a pre-order as well of some threads that I knew I wanted. So I picked up this one, which is called Fishes and Bait by Plum Street Samplers. Fishes and bait, when a woman marries, then troubles her fate. I thought that was great. I'm not getting married anytime soon, but I thought that was great. I got this one as well from their £5 box by the Bay Needle Art Santa Tending the Sheep. I nearly didn't get it, and then I changed my mind because it's just got such a lovely face. And a lot of it looks like a lot of the stitches are either French knots, or they could be done with whisper thread. So the sheep looks as if it's raised up, as does his moustache and the coat, the part of his coat as well. And I also picked up this one, which I've been after for a little while, called Pocket for Potions by La Di Da. What else did I get? I got my Fabric of the Month Club, so I am getting 32 count Affugata fibre on a whim, and I'm getting a fat 1/8. So this is my Fabric of the Month Club in 32 count, which would also make a nice base for Summer at Cherry Hill. So I got that one. That was my Fabric of the Month Club. And then because it's such a nice fabric, and I thought it would be a great base for the winter sampler, which I'll put a little picture of it up, that I'm going to do a stitch along with Amanda, who is Alba Stitcher. Apologies for the rustling. I bought a fat 1/4 in 36 count. So same fabric, but 36 count. And these are some of the threads. Try and hold them like that. Most of the threads. Oh, I've got a random blue strand there. Let's try and hold them like that. Most of the threads there. So I think that's going to look great. So I'm planning to start that in July, for Christmas in July, along with other Christmas stitching that I need to finish. I also got, on pre-order, so they brought them with them, sorry, some threads for, whoops, there's one there, Teresa Kogat's latest Patreon. This one is a Stitcher's Garden, so those are the threads there. And I decided that Weeks Dye Works Cappuccino would be the appropriate fabric for it. So that's the fabric, that's the chart, and these are the threads. Now it may be that one thread there I need to change, make it maybe slightly lighter or slightly darker, but I think the general principle is there, and I want to start that sooner rather than later, because there's 2 or 3 of those, well in fact all of the ones from this month's Patreon I want to stitch because they're amazing. I'm not sure if I showed you that last week or not. I can't remember if I showed you the Patreon ones, but they were lovely. I don't think it gives a fabric choice. No, you just have to choose yourself. And was that it? Was that it? Must have been. Yeah, must have been. But I went back several times, obviously, just to have a chat with Carla and Catherine and see how things going, and you know, have another leaf through the charts and that sort of stuff, because you never know. Until you see something on the day, you just never know what you need. It's like going into IKEA. You don't know what you need until you get there. It's quite funny, I was in Jules actually at the outlet centre on the way down in Bridgend, and this lady came and stood next to me, and her husband came right up sort of behind her and said, "So what are you looking for?" And I just turned to her and I said, "They always ask these questions, don't they?" "Do you mean, what am I looking for?" "I don't know, I haven't looked yet. I have no preconceived ideas about what I need." I've said that I stopped again at Bridgend at the outlet centre on the way back home because they've got a Five Guys there, and I really fancied a burger. I hadn't had any food since this enormous lunch, but this was probably about 8 o'clock by this point. And I just had a burger and a drink, and I had the burger with everything. So it had bacon and cheese and onions and mushrooms and gherkins and all the trimmings. But the one thing it didn't come with was a bath. I literally picked it up and it just disintegrated on me. And so I'm trying to eat this burger, and I'd chosen a seat in the window, And I'm thinking, all these people walking past must be thinking, what is this freak show woman just trying to eat this burger? It's just disintegrated. I had to go to the bathroom afterwards and literally wash myself down. But it was delicious. It was delicious. The other thing that I've got to show you, and I'm just thinking now that I haven't done a freebie. I will put a freebie in the notes, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't know yet. So it'll be a surprise. So check the show notes and there will be a freebie there, I promise. I don't like to not do one. The last thing I have is a whip that I bought. Now it's not a cross stitch whip, it's a quilting whip. And I just randomly happened to see this for sale. And I just thought it was so amazing and nearly finished, so I could probably finish it, that I bought the whip. And it is, I don't know how easy I'm going to be able to show you, a round quilt made up, double-sided, made up of, now I can never say his name, Kaffa Facet, is that how you say it? All those beautiful fabrics, you'll recognise them when you see them. But somebody had put together this most amazing, I'm going to disappear off behind it, rainbow quilt in the round. All the way through all of the colours of the rainbow. And it's huge. It would sit sort of in the middle of a double bed and it's double-sided. So I thought I can finish that. I can do the applique bit in the middle. It's hand quilted. So I think what I might do is quilt it on the sewing machine and just run on the inside of their stitches and then take out their hand quilting, because that looks too difficult for me. I can do machine quilting, but I'm not sure about hand quilting because it needs another sort of two lines really, and then do the binding. So I thought that was an amazing purchase. I couldn't believe that somebody would be wanting to get rid of such a beautiful thing. But anyway, so it'll probably be a whip with me for another 5 years maybe. We have all the ideas and not much of the time. Anyway, that's it from me this evening. I will see you next week. Hopefully I'll have a couple more finishes to show you. You never know. If not, there'll definitely be some more stitchy chat. Stay classy, Stitchers.